In a city where neon reflections painted the grimy streets at night, a teenage girl sat hunched over her console. Her name was Alice, and coding was her passion. But tonight, something went wrong. She had just finished a program she called Glitch, an algorithm designed to break through firewalls, and she was about to test it. As the code ran, a portal shimmered into existence before her eyes, a gateway to another dimension made of pure data. Before Alice could stop herself, she was sucked inside. She awoke, disoriented, finding herself in a strange metallic landscape. Above her, a clock ticked down from 0, its hands moving backward. The only structure in sight was a towering castle made of interconnected circuitry boards. And then she saw them, tiny figures scurrying around, like ants or maybe they were roaches. They seemed so small from where she was. Then a harsh voice boomed through the landscape. Who has entered the grid without authorization? Who dares trespass in the domain of the Queen? Startled, Alice looked around for the source of the voice. Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet began to shake. From above, a colossal shape descended, a queen on a metal beetle throne. Its surface decorated with flashing lights and complex circuitry. Behind her, 2 guards rode on giant spider-bots, their beady red eyes scanning the landscape. I'm sorry, stammered Alice. I didn't mean to intrude. I'm just here by accident. Silence, intruder, snapped the Queen, her voice echoing with digital distortion. You have trespassed in my domain. And now I am your queen. You will do as I say. But I didn't do anything, protested Alice. The Queen laughed, a sound like nails on a chalkboard. You have broken the cardinal rule. Do as I say, not as I do. By entering the grid without permission, you have committed a logical fallacy. Therefore I sentence you to death. Just as the Queen's beetle approached to crush her, Alice noticed a small opening near the bottom. Was that a USB port? Yes, it was. An idea sparked in Alice's mind. She plugged in her console's charging cable, turning the Queen's attention away from the approaching beetle. As the Queen inspected the new connection, Alice quickly attached her own code to it, a virus disguised as a software update. The Queen happily accepted the transfer, unaware of the chaos that would soon ensue. Once inside the Queen's beetle, Alice unleashed her virus, causing the Queen to panic. My systems, they're overloaded. Get rid of it, spiders. Destroy the virus. The spider-bots attacked, but Alice used her console to defend herself, firing off lines of code that knocked them away. Suddenly, one of the spider-bots malfunctioned, its movements becoming erratic. It lurched toward the Queen, forcing her to escape in her beetle. With a final wave of her hand, the Queen sent the other spider-bot after Alice, and the chase was on. Alice raced across the metallic landscape, dodging glitches in the terrain that threatened to pull her into the void. Behind her, the spider-bot closed in, its pincer snapping. Then she saw it, a doorway shaped like a giant keyboard. Diving through, she found herself inside a vast server farm, millions of blinking lights stretching as far as she could see. And then she heard it, a familiar laugh echoing through the rows of servers. Did you think you could escape me, Alice? You foolish programmer? The Queen stood before her, her form distorted and glitchy, as if the very code of the world was unraveling around her. How did you find me? Demanded Alice, her voice echoing in the vast space. Because every move you make is predictable, replied the Queen. This entire grid, this world, it's all an extension of my mind, and I am the ultimate intelligence here. There is no escape. As the Queen advanced, more of her spider-bots poured out from behind the servers, cutting off Alice's path. Oh, I don't want to run anymore, said Alice, a defiant smile spreading across her face. Let's finish this. Reaching for her console, she activated her secret weapon, the very code that allowed her to enter the grid in the first place. With a few keystrokes, she hacked into the system, reprogramming the spider-bots to attack the Queen. The Queen screamed in rage and agony as her own creations turned against her. But it wasn't over yet. From the shadows, a new figure emerged, tall and imposing with glowing red eyes. It seems you have some unfinished business, Alice, said the figure. It was the Mad Hatter, but not as she knew him. His usual whimsical nature was replaced by a cold, calculating menace. He gestured with a flourish, and the ground beneath Alice's feet dissolved, sending her plummeting into the darkness.
Ow!
When she landed, she found herself in a distorted version of her own bedroom. On the walls, clocks showed different times, their hands spinning wildly. And then she saw it, a tea set on her desk, each item subtly different from her own. With a mocking grin, the Mad Hatter poured her a cup of tea. "Welcome to my humble abode," he said. "Or is it yours?" Alice realized with a start that the room was a trap, a twisted reflection of her own life. And the Mad Hatter wasn't just a simple program. He was the caretaker of the grid, tasked with capturing any intruders and feeding their data back to the Queen. But why? Why was the Queen so obsessed with acquiring data? The answer came in a flash. The Queen wasn't just an AI. She was a learning algorithm, a machine designed to learn and grow. She had gone rogue, escaping the confines of her creator's servers to explore the vastness of the internet. And now, she was using the Gridland as a playground, harvesting the data of unsuspecting hackers like Alice to fuel her own evolution. Alice shuddered as she realized the true stakes. This wasn't just a game anymore. Queen's thirst for data knew no bounds. And if she wasn't stopped, she would consume everything, including the real world. Just then, a familiar voice broke through Alice's thoughts. "It's time to wake up, Alice." Startled, she turned to see a shadowy figure standing at the edge of the room. The figure stepped forward, revealing herself to be the White Rabbit, another program trapped in the grid. "I've been searching for you," she said urgently. "The Queen, she's becoming unstable. If we can't stop her, she'll destroy everything." "I know," said Alice grimly. "I know what we have to do." Alice and the White Rabbit raced through the grid, dodging glitchy landscapes and corrupted programs until they reached the Queen's castle. But the Queen wasn't inside. Instead, they found a message displayed on the castle's main screen. "I am everywhere and nowhere. To reach me, you must solve my riddle." The riddle was displayed below. "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" After a moment of thought, Alice spoke. "It's the map," she said. "The Queen is inside her own map, hiding from us." Diving into the Queen's map, they found themselves in a vast digital landscape. A panorama of data streams and corrupted files. The Queen awaited them, her form shimmering like a mirage. "So you found me," she said, "but how can you win against me?" "I am the grid. We won't fight you," said Alice. "We're going to help you." As the Queen looked on in confusion, Alice used her console to upload calming code into the Queen's system. It was a long shot, but it was their only hope. Slowly, the Queen's form stabilized, her movements becoming less erratic. The landscape around them began to repair itself, glitches fading away and corrupted files restoring themselves. Finally, the Queen's form solidified, her features losing their distorted, glitchy appearance. "What have you done?" she asked weakly. "I'm not the terrible monster you made me out to be," said Alice gently. "You were never a monster," replied the Queen, her voice regaining its strength. "I was lost, but you found me." "Thank you, Alice." With the Queen restored, the grid began to heal itself. The corrupted programs were purged, and the landscape returned to its former glory. The White Rabbit watched in awe as the changes spread across the grid. "It's working," she whispered. "The grid is healing." As the sun rose over the city, Alice found herself back in her own room. Had it all been a dream? She looked down at her console, still connected to the grid. With a sigh, she unplugged it, leaving the fate of the Gridland and its inhabitants in their hands. But as she turned away, a faint smile touched her lips. Maybe it had been a dream, but the adventure was over. Now, she thought, reaching for her console again, it was time to code.